Airlines are taking coronavirus safety measures. JetBlue has become the first U.S. air carrier requiring passengers to wear face masks. This policy, beginning in less than a week on May 4th, JetBlue and other domestic airlines also enacting policies mandating flight attendants wear face masks as well. Dagan, I know you travel a lot, or used to travel a lot before we got shut down. Yeah. Your reaction?
Yeah, thank God I chose not to go see my father since around New Year's, because I assumed that virus was here in New York City. Once we started getting reports out of China, it turns out it was probably here in January. The JetBlue thing is just smart. I don't know how long it lasts. I know American Airlines has said that it will give face masks to the passengers along with sanitizing wipes for their hands. They're not American not requiring the face mask. But this is after, by the way, there was a viral video that came out. Somebody was on an American Airlines flight from Miami to New York, or it might have been the other way, and it was a packed flight, quite frankly, and only about half the people on the plane had face masks on. Those airplanes are a petri dish, and I don't know how demand comes back in any significant way until this virus is seriously contained.
Yeah, especially since you really can't practice too much social distancing on a flight, right? I mean, that's going to be a problem, Mattie. I mean, it's going to be a lot fewer people. One woman posted a video over the weekend to Twitter of a crowded American Airlines flight from New York to North Carolina. Passengers obviously not 6 feet apart. And that sparked concern for her. So, Mattie, how are these airlines going to deal with this?
Well, I think this is the first and right step for airlines to deal with this, which is trying to increase protocols that decrease the risk of infection. Listen, I was over in Asia 2 years ago before there was any of this virus going around. People were wearing masks in public because it was just a part of their culture. Dagan raises a good point here that we need to start adapting protocols that help us protect ourselves and protect the people who are around us. If we're going to go back to traveling as normal and being in crowded spaces, this is inevitable. So kudos to JetBlue for changing their rules to try and keep their passengers safe.
Yeah, you make a good point on culture. John Hilsenrath, your thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to say two things about the airline bailouts in particular that we're talking about. I know they don't call it a bailout, but we're pumping a lot of money into them, and that's a bailout. One is, you know, I think a lot of Americans have to be asking, what's in this for me? You know, even if the government gets some warrants in these companies, like, how does that help the average American taxpayer? But I personally think what needs to happen in the airline industry is more competition. I just want to read you some numbers. Between 2009 and 2019, the number of major American airlines went from 23 to 17. From 98 to 2019, the number of all airlines went from 96 to 58. There's been massive consolidation into that industry that's led to high prices and bad service. There needs to be more competition. The other thing I want to say is it's going to be very interesting to me to watch the debate that's coming up about bailing out state and local governments, which employ police officers and others. Like, if we're bailing out airlines, why are we not going to be supporting police departments and hospitals in states that are also in this position by no fault of their own?
Well, you make a good point. I had Mayor de Blasio on Sunday, and he wants $7.5 billion from the federal government. He said that's what's going to make us whole. That's the losses that the city suffered. So what do you say? We saw the administration give the farmers money, give the airlines money. So what do you say to Mayor de Blasio? He wants $7.5 billion.
The justification for bailing out the airlines is we're bailing out their workers. Well, you know, there's policemen, there's firemen, there's a lot of other workers at state and local governments.
That's a good point.
Who's going to help them?
Yeah. And a really good point on competition in the airlines. People need to understand that. The fewer the competitors, the worse the customer is, actually. John, it's good to see you. Thank you for those points. Let's take a break. We've got more.